Hello and welcome to the Ideas by Mike podcast with your host, Mike Milligan. I'm Wendy McConnell. Well, hey there, Mike. How you doing today?
Doing good, Wendy. How are you?
I'm good. So what's been going on? What's happening? What's coming up?
This is our first episode of 2025, so I'm so excited to be able to just kind of recap what we've been doing over the, what we did over 2024 with the one of a kind financial plan. And then I'd like to look forward to what we're going to be doing this year, and even kind of like, for our listeners, give them some things to think about, because we all know in January of every year, finances become, crystal clear, and people make resolutions. But they also, we also know that most resolutions are broken pretty quick. So we want to give some guidance on how people can work that. If people stay to the end, that's definitely what we're going to do on today's show.
All right.
But how I'd like to get started, I just want to play a game, right? If you're okay with that, Wendy, would you?
Okay, I like games.
Would you be interested in playing the slogan game with me?
Okay.
So a slogan is something that should probably tell you exactly what a company could do to help you improve your life. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So see if you can name this company. Just Do It.
Oh, that's Nike.
Oh, yeah. And Nike obviously makes tennis shoes and athletic apparels so we can work out, right?
Yes.
That's what they do.
Get up off your butt and just do it.
That's it. All right. You are free to move about the country.
Well, you did give me a little bit of a head start on this one, but yes, it's Southwest Airlines, right?
That's right. So they do discount airfares around the country, so you can go to national parks and the beach and the mountains and do whatever, right? And they're actually hilarious when you get on their flight, right? I'm gonna go back a little bit and see if you remember this one. Think different.
Wasn't that IBM?
It's close. That's very close, because that was the largest company at the time, right? This came out, but it was Apple.
Oh.
Apple. That was if you remember the old commercial, like Steve Jobs, when he came back to Apple the second time, he said he did this whole commercial that was like, for those who don't fit the mold of traditional thinking, those who are trying to put a square peg in a round hole, right? And it was this whole idea. Do you know that came out in 1997? That's when that came out. Okay. And it was just so invigorating, because look at what he did. It was all about innovation. Look what he and that company did from 1997. They were nothing at the time. IBM was big. Dell was big. Compaq was big, right? But when they came, when he put that think different out, not only to the public, but individuals, those who don't fit the mold of traditional. 10 years later, they created the iPod, right?
Right.
iPod. And then they created the iPhone. And what would we ever do without the iPhone?
Oh, my goodness.
I know, right? All right. How about this one? American runs on Dunkin'.
Oh, well, that was an easy one. Dunkin' Donuts.
Right. What's interesting about those, right, is those companies, we all know that how Apple has revolutionary and changed our life. We know what Southwest does. They're going to take us from point A to point B to visit family, friends, and the such. Nike is going to help us work out. Dunkin' is going to give us that sugar and caffeine fix. How about this one? Try this one. We make money when you make money.
No, I don't know.
All right. How about this one? We are investing in a bullish future.
These sound all like investment companies,
right?
Banks or something like that.
How about this one? We change the investing world for the better.
Yeah, I don't know any of those.
Right. That's what's interesting, right? Those are all financial companies.
Okay.
And one of the most interesting things about financial companies is they give these big, visions for what they do. And all of those said we, like the company does that, right? It doesn't say anything about you, the consumer, or you, the individual. And so do these major financial companies with these slogans, do they help people save taxes? Do they provide investment strategy? Do they provide retirement income guidance? How about legacy and long-term care? No, they don't say that. Because see, a slogan should simply be, what can you do to help me? Right? That's what it should be. And
right.
that's one of the things that why we created Ideas by Mike. It's one of this major journey that we're going on because of in the creation of the one of a kind financial plan. Because the one of a kind financial plan is around so that you can live a one of a kind life. And it's I was marketing, right, is supposed to make the complex simple. That's what it's supposed to do. Unfortunately, though, in this industry, right, the financial planning, financial advisory, insurance industry, it's all about we, the company, most of the time. We, the industry. How can the industry make money? How can we create a process so that everybody jumps on our process, right? But the reality is there's just uniqueness out there, right? People are unique, Wendy. You are one of a kind. Everybody that's come on our show has been one of a kind. Our listeners are one of a kind, and that's why we are trying to kind of change the industry for the better. Do you remember back when I shared some stories about my past when I talked about my granny? Do you remember those stories?
I think I do.
Yeah. So like my granny was one who she was 60 to summarize, because this is back on episode 1. It was right from the beginning, Wendy, a long time ago. But episode 1, she was 64 years old. My grandfather had been diagnosed with cancer. She was a stay-at-home mom, but she had to innovate out of necessity. She needed to pay her bills. And so she took like the family recipe, the collard sandwich, and then she started wrapping them up and taking them to job sites and selling them, right, to people who loved her, but people who wanted to support her. And she brought a little version of me along, right, and said, "Come with me," right, and I got to help her find places she could sell, and I got to collect the money and to collect the money, count the money. She also did this in festivals. I mean, I learned how to interact with people by people who would come to festivals and they would buy 10, 20, 50 of these sandwiches at a time. But my granny had a 3rd grade education. She didn't really know how to read much. She tried to do crossword puzzles. She watched Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune to learn late in life. And I was there with her, but I got to help her open a bank account. I got to help her account for her money. And then she was really my first client. What I learned from her, though, I didn't know this, right, when I was 11, 12, 20, 30, even 30, right? This kind of came later because, when I started helping her, that was 37 years ago. But learning from her and then learning from some of these icons like Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos, right? And even like the Titans back, JP Morgan and those. I've come to learn that, love is what people really want, is they want to know you care about them. And so when we created the slogan, the one of a kind financial plan for your one of a kind life, it was really based off of what I learned from my granny. But then what I brought into our business from these icons, right? And so, I'd love to just recap what we did the last 5 episodes with our guests. And then before we go forward to 2025, because I think the one of a kind financial plan could help everybody if they would just implement it as part of their resolutions for 2025. So part of that is we started the first guest that came on to walk us through was Ben from Holistiplan. We nerded out on taxes. And because the first part of the one of a kind financial plan is having a tax plan, because taxes are the most expensive thing you'll ever pay in your life. Do you know any tax stats at all, Wendy, that we talked about? It's like a guessing game here.
Tax stats. Low is good, high is bad. No, I don't really remember.
That's good, right? That's good. That's investments, but that's really good. But like we talked about how taxes are really at the lowest they've ever been. So you kind of got that concept from the first part, right? Taxes are at the lowest they've been. In order for our government to actually balance our budget in the future and actually, lower the debt that we have, tax rates have to go up. We've been a couple months now since the election. And one of the most interesting things since the election is who's going to control the government going forward is really a a tax neutral stance where taxes aren't going to go up in the interim, like this immediate first couple of years, but there's going to be a lot of negotiation during this year 2025 between the House, the Senate, and the President, because there's a tax expiration at the end of this year. So we talked about that with Ben, and I even asked Ben, where do you think tax rates are going in the future? And he says, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But he's like, I think they got to go up. And we all think they got to go up. So we talked with Ben about that. That was episode 11. Jim Fisher, one of my best friends in the world, and he is really 99% the creator, but it's like picking my mind on how to create this forecaster that we've innovated together. And so like retirement income planning is part 2 of the one of a kind plan. If you know what your income's going to be in retirement, it allows you to actually retire because the biggest fear retirees have is running out of money. And if you have guaranteed income that's going to your checking account every month, you're not going to really worry about running out of money in retirement. It's just coming. So we have a forecasting tool that would create that could show you that. Then we brought in Steve Osternick on investment management, the chief investment officer and CEO of Advisory Alpha, who does a lot of the investment management for our company, to discuss how we determine what risk is. How do we determine a worthy fee? And then the fourth part of the one of a kind financial plan is long-term care. And that was Heather and Nicola. I mispronounced her name like 5 times on the actual podcast.
Which you learned.
Which I did. By the end, I learned it, and now I know how to pronounce it. But they are the innovators of Halo, which is the health analysis and longevity optimizer, a tool that people can use to see if they keep living the way they're living now, added to their genetics, and then added to their health. What their health expectancy and life expectancy is going to be, and then literally how they can optimize it. And the cost between that health and life expectancy, what that's really going to be. That's a tool we use with our clients. And then we brought on Scott Carey, who's one of the co-founders of Snug. And he shared that great story about how he went to an attorney when he was working at Uber. He went to that attorney and they drafted documents and they sent them to him and they had somebody else's name on them. And what he realized is that estate planning documents are just forms. And that 68% of Americans don't have a will or a trust. And Scott, Snug, Mike, and Ideas by Mike are trying to change that. We want to get that number from 68% of people that don't have it as low as we possibly can. Man, if we can get that in single digits, we're going to change people's lives for the better. So the one of a kind financial plan is for everybody's one of a kind life. It involves taxes, retirement income, investment strategy, long-term care planning, and legacy planning. And so it was fun to go through those and have those kind of amazing folks on here that partner with us to be able to bring that to our listeners. And so as we close 2024, we are going all in on this in 2025, right? So Wendy, I've never asked you this before. This is our 16th episode, right? But what makes you one of a kind?
Oh, most people would say my mouth. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, like you're a great talker, huh? Like,
yeah. Well, great or just talker, I don't know.
Yeah, but what does when Wendy's not talking on a microphone, what does Wendy like to do? What does she want to do with the remaining years she has on this earth?
Well, I want to travel. I want to play pickleball. Those are my 2 things.
Do you play doubles pickleball or singles pickleball?
Oh, I am too old for singles. I've got to play doubles.
Right. And listen, pickleball, right, is one of the fastest growing things in America right now, right? I have a client, Connor, who's really young. His mom has been a client of mine for a number of years. He just got hired by a company that they're actually doing innovation in pickleball from the courts to actually make them softer. Yeah. Right? Because the older the population is, right? Where we currently play pickleball is on old tennis courts, right? Or indoor on concrete structures, right? But he's actually innovating right now to make pickleball a softer surface. So older people who need hip replacements and knee replacements can still play, right? It's just, you want to talk about innovation.
Yeah, that's great.
But
Yeah.
one of the questions we ask everybody, just like you, Wendy, the future travel and pickleball amateur, right? Maybe pro, right? In the future is we ask them what makes them one of a kind. Because this is the question everybody needs to ask themselves in 2025 is because we are all legitimately one of a kind. We have something to bring, to our community, to our families, to our, we owe it to ourselves to treat our health, our body in a way that is that will treat us right the longer we live, right? What we put into it, how we exercise, how we move, right? Those are all important things. And then we owe it to ourselves to go live that one of a kind life. So for those who, as Steve Jobs said, and think differently, those who don't fit the mold of traditional thinking, right? Those who are not just living passively, those who are just not trying to just, get by in life. Ideas by Mike and the one of a kind financial plan is for you. So often these slogans that we talked about where people don't know, we help people live life plan. We are investing in we. It's not about we. It's not about them. It's about you. It's about you, the individual. Why don't you have a unique plan that alleviates fear, alleviates stress? And why don't you go live the life you are meant to live, right? Ideas by Mike is about you. So I'm excited for what we were able to do in 2024, but I'm excited about the people we're going to reach in 2025. And so I do want to look ahead. Do you have any predictions for 2025 or any resolutions, Wendy?
Resolutions. Oh, I always have resolutions, but then, yeah, I want to save more money. I want to lose some weight. I want to, work out more, all of that kind of stuff.
And those are not too different than like what everybody who listens wants also, right? We always want to, get our budget in line. We want to save more. We do want to lose weight. We want to shed like the holiday weight, right? The 10 or 15 pounds that we're carrying, right? Extra. I want to travel more. Listen, I travel a lot. Just this past year in 2024, my wife and I had a chance to travel and visit the Greek Isles and Turkey, and we went to Italy. She went to Barcelona. We finished 2024 in Lima, Peru, hiking Machu Picchu. And then we hiked Rainbow Mountain on New Year's Day, right? Rainbow Mountain, if you don't know what that is, look it up. It is intense. We hiked that on New Year's Day. And now we're in Mendoza, right? We're in Mendoza, we're drinking Malbec, starting the year in style. But this year in 2025, we're going to go to Switzerland. We're going to visit 2 or 3 national parks. We're going to Mexico on a work trip. We're going to Miami, right? We travel. I think that's what makes us one of a kind. When we go out to dinner we go out to dinner in the community, people who know us, they always say, hey, where'd you guys just get back from? Or, hey, where are you going next?
Yeah.
Because that's what's a priority for us. Our priority is to go see as much of this world as possible. Some people is to spend as much time as they can with family, with their grandkids. Some it's, I want to be in my garden, right? I want to have the best looking garden I could ever have. Some of it is I want to write a book. Some people, want to build a business. Everybody lives one of a kind though, and they're going to have resolutions. The goal is to be resolute with them, actually see them to completion. And that's where we so often fail. And so, I'd like to give people kind of a little forward look into what, some things they can look for in like a one of a kind year. Because I think 2025 is going to be a hell of a year. It's going to be crazy, like the news headlines. But one of the things I'm gonna resolve to is not on top of traveling is I'm not going to watch the news as much.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a good one.
I'm not going to do it. Right. I'm going to focus on the things that are like right here in my sphere, right? The people I hang out with, the clients that we serve, the prospects, right? I'm going to stay engaged, right? So I know what's going on financially. But man, stuff out there that just doesn't impact me and people. And by the way, people that don't even know I exist, right? The president of the United States does not know who Mike Milligan is, right? The vice president, the people in the House, people that they don't know who I am, right? Do you think they care about me? They don't give a flip about me, right?
Well,
I don't think so. It's just
well,
that
I think you're right, but we're not supposed to say that, Mike.
I know we're
They're
not supposed to say
they're
it, right?
supposed to care about us.
Right, right. But if you're going to live a one of a kind life, you got to realize who cares about you,
Right.
right? Who really has your best interest in mind. And you need to find that tribe, right? And when you start living one of a kind, and you realize what doesn't matter, oh my gosh, it opens up. So here's some things financially, I think, right? So I'm going to stop watching. I'm going to travel. I'm going to stop watching the news as much, and I'm going to spend more time with the 5 or 6 people in my life that really matter to me, right? One of the other things I'm going to take on, and some of my clients who get this know that I did this about 7 years ago, so I'm going to do it again. One of the things I did 7 years ago is over 52 weeks, I wrote one meaningful letter a week. And I think this is kind of a one of a kind thing to do. But I wrote one meaningful letter a week where I wrote it to 52 people who were kind of on the outskirts of my life, right? They weren't like directly in my life, right? Not people I dealt with every day, but people I had some sort of what I thought was a meaningful relationship in the past. And in that letter, I did a couple things. I either apologized for not keeping up with them, right? I celebrated an accomplishment that I saw on social media, right? And told them that I'm just so proud of them. And number 3, I set a tone, right, for how I'd like to interact with them in the future. And some of them were just like, hey, I'm watching you from a distance, right? And I'm just going to cheer you on from a distance. Other ones like, I would like to actively talk to you once a month. If it's a 5-minute, 10-minute call. Other ones, and these are some of the closest people in my life right now. I literally said to them, I want to know everything, right? I want us to be accountability partners. I want us to do that. And I did that with 3 people that year. All 3 of them are active in my life now. But for 52 weeks, right? If you think about this, if you could write a letter to 52 different people on the fringe of your life and really put thought and effort into it, think about how your life would change a year from now. That's radical, right? That's one of a kind, right? And you can't do it every year, right? That's not something I haven't done in 7 years. I cannot do it every year, right? Because it takes too much energy and just run out of people. And then you're just stretching, right? You're stretching to
Right.
bring people in, and we just don't need that, right? But 52 people, right? If you've had any meaningful experience in your life, and again, don't invite them where you don't want them to go. But if you really want to engage with them, like in a distance, I look forward to being able to see your future success. Or I'd like to communicate for 5 to 10 minutes once a month just to see. Or I'd like for us to really get involved with each other, right? That's one of a kind. Now, that's one of the things that, I told you I was going to give financial strategy. That's financial strategy number 1. I mean, that's a different financial strategy, right? Because here's the thing. If you can see who's really meaningful by writing letters to people, you're going to know where to invest your time and your energy. Because a lot of times we think about investments as NVIDIA or Microsoft, or, hey, give me the hottest investment tip you can. Well, the hottest investment tip I can give you is to invest in your community, right? That is by far and away the best thing you could do. And community doesn't mean my neighbor. It can mean your neighbor, but it doesn't mean that. It means those who are in your circle. And the way with technology is today, where we can be in 2 different states having a conversation, you can be in somebody's community and not see them every day. But if you want the number 1 investment tip of 2025 from Mike Milligan and Ideas by Mike, invest in 52 people by telling them how you feel about them, how proud you are, or if you ever did something wrong to that person, admit it. Free your conscience, right? Free yourself up from it, and then it's up to them to respond. But that's the biggest investment tip I can give you for next year. The next is, that's financial tip 1. Number 2 is I want to talk about vision for 2025. Because the economy is going to change, right? And financial people will come on shows and they'll say to you, the stock market's going to go up 7.8%, GDP is going to be 1.3%. And oh my gosh, so boring. We. That's those people, Wendy. The people that have the slogans, we are going to talk numbers that are meaningless. And 99.99999% of them are exactly right with their, are wrong with their decisions. So 99.999% of people who give you a prediction about what's going to happen in the market or the economy are wrong. And the other 0.000001% of them got lucky, right?
Okay.
Because nobody knows what's going to happen in the economy, right? It's just outside of our control. So the way to adapt to economic change is to build a plan for yourself. To build a plan for yourself. I tell the story all the time. You can buy a lot. You can go to the Home Depot. You could build the lot. You could build the home yourself, or you could buy the lot, get an architect, get a builder, get a subcontractor. They're going to go to the Home Depot and get the stuff, and then you're going to have the perfect house built for you, up to code, that could withstand anything you have. So if you want to adapt to what's coming economically, get a financial plan. It's like the financial plan is where you go to, if anything economic happens that, right, is negative. You get laid off from your job, a good plan is going to have an emergency fund in place, right? The stock market goes down 20%, a good plan would have money set aside that you can withdraw if you need it so that you don't subject yourself to loss. You have a family member pass away next year, you have a disability come up, the plan's going to have everything laid out. So, right, anything that happens to you, right, you is going to be in your plan. You don't have to adapt. And then we know there's always technology change, right? Always technology change. And technology is going to continue to innovate going forward. And so just embrace technology and be willing to go with it, but don't let technology, AI, replace the art of human connection. So in 2025, right? So the big three things that I would say going forward is invest in 52 people, right? Invest in people by writing them a letter. Put a stamp on it, right? Give our postal workers something to do and something to deliver. You could also email those out too, right? I mean, you don't have to do that, but invest in people, right? From an economic standpoint, create your plan. And then from a technology, embrace it, but don't let AI and your technology replace the art of human connection, because that is so important, right? We need that, right? Our longevity, our mental health, the more we talk to people, the more we embrace, the more we use AI for what it should be used for, right? But don't replace it for what humans should do. The healthier 2025 is going to be for you.
All right.
We got a couple of announcements too for 2025. You want to hear what the company's doing for this year?
I would love to hear it.
We're debuting around the country the One of a Kind financial show. It is a radio show that is geared toward you living your one of a kind life. And so we know podcasts, people can listen to that as they go, right? But we also know that everybody does not use the podcast medium, right? That there are some people who still listen to radio of all things, right? And it's on their thing. So we have partnered with radio stations and Sirius around the country, Sirius XM radio around the country, to put the one of a kind financial show out there, right? And it's me talking about people, our clients mainly, about how they're doing to face economic uncertainty and live the one of a kind life. So it's weekly stories about how our clients are embracing the one of a kind life and moving forward with it with a one of a kind financial plan, which brings me to the last big announcement for the year, the one of a kind financial planning book. The book. Look at this, right? June 1st, 2025. June 1st, 2025 is coming to Amazon or a book online retailer close to you. We are 90% of the way as of today. We're 90% through, and we've been promised June 1st. It's actually going to be finished around March 31st, and we're going to do some soft launches in April, May. and then go live June 1st. So look at that. We love technology, right? Ideas by Mike loves technology. We love podcasts. We love the Ideas by Mike podcast with Wendy, right? We love that, right? But we're gonna meet people on some radio. We're gonna do something. We're gonna do a book. We're going old school. We're gonna bring back that art of human connection, meeting people where they are.
It's very exciting stuff, Mike. I'm very excited for you.
Yeah, me too. Me too,
All
Wendy.
right. Congratulations.
So Wendy, I hope you have the best 2025. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
You too.
Yeah. Well, enjoy pickleball, and then I can't wait to hear about your travels for this year.
All right.
Thanks for letting me share today, looking back and then looking forward on how the one-of-a-kind financial plan can fit your one-of-a-kind life.
And Mike, how do people get in touch with you?
So it's Ideas by Mike. You can go to Google and just do Ideas by Mike on Google. You can go to www.ideasbymike. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's at Ideas by Mike. Instagram at Ideas by Mike. Or on our website, our phone number and email are there. I just hope everyone has the best 2025. It is going to be a one-of-a-kind year. I'm predicting that, right? That's my prediction for the year. Things to our listeners, things are going to happen to you that don't happen to anyone else. All right. It's yours to embrace and do in 2025, that one of a kind experience nobody else has. And I'm looking forward to hearing those stories, right? From our listeners that turn into clients, from our prospects who we build plans for, even for our employees, right? And where they're going to be at the end of 2025. It's going to be a great year.
All right. Looking forward to it. So thank you again, Mike, and thank you for listening today. Please like, follow, and share this podcast with your friends. Until next time, I'm Wendy McConnell.
Thank you for tuning in to Ideas by Mike, the podcast, the show where ideas turn into money. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to click the follow button to stay up to date on future releases. For additional information on becoming a part of the Ideas by Mike community, check out our website at ideasbymike.com. Don't forget to take a look at the show notes, and for more financial insights, subscribe to the Ideas by Mike YouTube channel or visit the website to find one of the upcoming webinars. Also, connect on Instagram or Facebook at Ideas by Mike. Ideas by Mike is an LLC headquarters in Virginia with offices in 42 cities. The company owns an insurance agency registered in all states directly or through affiliate companies. Mike is an investment advisor representative with JB Wealth Advisors. Any financial planning information shared on the show should not be construed as financial advice for you personally. For your one-page financial plan, please reach out to Ideas by Mike through the website. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Ideas by Mike. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investment advice. Any financial planning information shared on the show should not be construed as financial advice for you personally. For your one-page financial plan, please reach out to Ideas by Mike through the website.